Hi, everyone. Great to have you on this show. I'm so excited to see you and to get connected with you. Everyone connecting everywhere around about the world. You're all welcome to this live show tonight. Congratulations on your journey to making a difference. I'm so excited you're getting on this journey with me. We can become that change agent we are all called to be. And on this show, Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh, we do not only train, but we teach, we mentor, and we coach people on how they can become better versions of themselves in the areas of their finances, business, career, leadership, and relationship. We'll learn from other people's stories and experience. Just like we have our special guest today, his name is Yannick. He'll be telling us about his experience. We'll learn from people's stories and experience, how we can, go people who have gone ahead of us before and avoid the same pitfalls they fell. And so that we can swell like the eagle to our goals faster and become better versions of ourselves. Making a difference does not only include you being great on your business front, but it does involve being spiritually, physically, and mentally okay. And today we have a special guest. I'm just going to be reading a bit of his bio before we bring him up. He is a seasoned speaker and leadership personnel, and that's why I thought that his story would inspire each and every one of us. I've learned from him, and I think you'll be learning so much from him tonight. His name is Yanick Hicks. Yannick earned his doctoral degree in pharmacy from Marshall University School of Pharmacy and is a pharmacist in the state of Arizona. He is a President Advisory Council member and Executive Director of the John Maxwell team, who is passionate about leadership, coach, and development. He is certified to coach, facilitate, speak, and train individuals and groups in the areas of development, leadership development, personal growth, and personal skill. So we are inviting him right now on board. He's going to be having the floor and telling us what he has done, how he has overcome, and what difference it's making in his world. So, Yanis, you're welcome. Great to have you. I'm
Well, thank
excited.
you very much, Sandra, for the kind introduction. I can see you're very passionate and excited about personal growth, and I love, listening to people who are passionate about becoming better, just becoming a better version of themselves. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I
Great.
hope I can add value to them.
Yes, my audience would like to know you. They want to hear from you, what you've done, what's your name, how did you come about pharmacy, and why you left pharmacy and you're doing coaching. We'd like to just learn from you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I grew up in Cameroon, so West Africa. So you're, Sandra, you're my neighbor, right? So
Yeah.
Nigeria, Cameroon, we always have this thing going on, whether it's football, soccer, and all those things. So I came to the U.S. I was a teenager. I was 16 years old, 2004. And so when I came to the US, I was pretty good in chemistry. I remember when I was in Cameroon, I was always top student in chemistry. But when I came here, I didn't know anything. My mom was already here. We're living in Atlanta, Georgia, Marietta area. And my mom was the one that brought up the career of pharmacy. I didn't know much about pharmacy, but since chemistry had to do with it, I started taking classes sophomore year, and then pharmacy was what it is. My mom used to do all the research, all the schools, and I didn't have an idea. And I'm from Africa, I don't know anything. So I just, pursued that path of pharmacy. It just made sense because my mom said, "Hey, you pursue pharmacy," not because I made any choice. I didn't know anything. I'm a teenager, and then a lot of things happened. How I got into leadership development was because I was so young and naive and had some difficulties in the US, especially being from Africa. So I had that culture shock, and kids make fun of me and things like that. I really wanted to fit in. And so right before college, I discovered liquor and drinking. So I started following the wrong crowd, started partying and drinking and doing all the bad things that you can think of.
Hmm.
And then when part of high school and throughout college, and I went to University of Georgia. So Georgia is a place for me. So After undergrad, that's when I hit rock bottom. I applied to pharmacy schools, 13 of them. I got rejected by 13, and I took the PCAT, which is the pharmacy entrance exam. Didn't do well, and basically I was stuck. So what was I going to do with my life? As a matter of fact, I failed one of my classes in before I was scheduled to graduate. So things seems all my bad habits and behaviors were catching up to me. And
Yeah.
so I was stuck and I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out, I'm stuck, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed, and didn't know what I was going to do. Little did I know, and then good fortune come my way. It was divine intervention, right? God knows how He does His stuff.
Sure.
Yep. God knows how He does His stuff. One day I got a call from my friend, and he was the one that we used to, party. And he began to talk to me about. He said, "Hey, I have this information for you. What is it? Personal growth and development." To find out, it was actually Joel Osteen. So say, "Hey, download this app. Listen to one of his messages." And so when I listened to it, that was almost 10 years ago. That was the day that turned my life around. I've never
Wow.
been the same ever since then.
Wow.
So, of course, from Joel Osteen, then turned my life around, and then I made a 180-degree turn. I mean, I like, yeah, I stopped the association, the friends that I was hanging out with, going to the club. I stopped drinking. I stopped partying. Um, I stopped smoking all the bad things. I remember almost 10 years ago, yes, I quit drinking completely. Haven't had a sip since then. And I just stayed in this journey of personal growth. I decided to pursue my pharmacy ambition. You remember I was stuck. And
Mm.
just a couple of months later, got into Marshall University School of Pharmacy. And then that's when I was in pharmacy school, my roommate introduced me to John Maxwell. And John Maxwell shifted my mindset from personal growth to leadership. You see what I mean? I was growing personally and getting some result, but John shifted. Leadership is all about others, and I like that concept of leadership. So that's when I started becoming obsessed with John. That was 2013, and in a short time of listening to John, I became president of our chapter, American Pharmacists Association. These things are life changing. I mean, if you just be consistent, I began to lead team. That's when I really began to. This is when in pharmacy school was when I began to see that pharmacy was not the vision for me. You see what I mean? That's when I began to realize that that's why I changed. Like leadership is what I'm about.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure. Ah, that's so scary. Having a background where you drink, smoke, and there's something I was saying, sharing with you before we went live. I said there are three things that makes a man: the people you're associated with, the book you read, and the environments where you grow. I guess what exposed you to this drinking, partying, and every other thing were those environments, those three things. You probably were not reading anything. So there was nothing like personal growth or getting anything inside of you. You had the wrong people around you, and you had an environment that was not conducive for you to grow. Awesome. Your friend must be a great friend. For a friend who has been partying with you, I'm sure he actually had an encounter. He had a changed life for him to invite you, because no bad friend will invite you to do something good. They will invite you to do what they do.
Yeah. The funny thing, yeah, and the thing is, that's why your friend have an influence, right? When they learn something and something that excited, they introduce you to it for your life to be transformed. But it's pretty interesting because my friend that introduced me, even though he introduced me to personal growth, he's still stuck in that lifestyle. Isn't that interesting?
Oh
He
my
is.
God, that can be.
Yeah. Because you see, there are people that know stuff, but there's a difference between knowing and doing. Remember
Sure.
so he introduced me, yes, and but he wasn't able to keep up. And I remember I tried to go and try to help him out, but he's still stuck in that lifestyle. Yep, I'm telling you. So
Oh.
it's unfortunate. I mean,
I felt he was transformed. That was why he was trying to transform you by
well,
inviting you.
he learned the stuff. I was able to maybe use some stuff, but it was hard. And And I found out why. It was his childhood programming. And so because he's got a lot of things from his childhood programming, it was difficult for him to change. It's just hard for him to let go of some of those programming from childhood. And so yeah, he keeps, my year story. I mean, he used to be my best friend. Like, I just used to follow him everywhere I go. Like, he used to be but it's just such as life. I mean, God bring people, some people for a reason, some people for a season, some people for a lifetime. But I'm
Yeah.
grateful for him.
He was there for a season, and he was there for a reason. And that's why I tell people, if these three people are there and they're not being of positive impacts to you, you have to let them go. And I'm sure you're not so much in touch with him again, because
Yeah,
he
but
was there for a reason. God actually brought him your way for a reason and for a season. He's done his part, and you have gone after him trying to see how you can bring him out, just the same way God used him for you. And you can change a man. That's why I tell people, the best
yeah,
you can do is share your ideas with them. The best and the only person who can change a man is his creator. So you can change a man. The best you can do is probably share what you are being influenced by, and watch them and see how they become positively influenced. I'm glad that he was able to influence you on the positive. Maybe we will never be connected today.
absolutely.
It was awesome. I met you at the John Maxwell Leadership Certification, and I guess was that your first time?
Oh no, I've gone to ever since I joined the team. I joined the team August 2017. So I've only missed one. So I've been to probably six. I mean, maybe
Oh,
five.
awesome.
Yeah.
And so there must be something that keeps you going for the program.
Yes. So, like my story in pharmacy school, I remember my mentor used to say, "You seem to be spending more time in this leadership and leading this organization and stuff like that." And the reason why I was spending more time sometimes than even studying and this and stuff was because that's what I was passionate about. I'm passionate about people and relationship and communicating and things like that. This used to
Yeah.
excite me and stuff like that. So I began to have this clarity of vision that somehow I didn't know, but somehow I began to envision myself doing what John Maxwell does. I mean, I'm talking about 2013, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. And and I knew that I wasn't going to be in pharmacy very long. I knew I was going to get
So
in work and stuff like that because you see, when you're doing something that is in alignment with your weakness, it sucks the energy and the life out of you. You see what I mean?
true, true.
It really, but when you're working something with your strength, it excites you. If something goes wrong, it challenges you, and so you're excited. So what gets me going is this is not. It says your career is what you're paid for, but your calling is what you're made for, right? So this
It's
for
true.
me, the calling is something I'm made for. So I've had challenges in business, but I'm so committed to this. The challenges are not going to stop me because I'm passionate about it. It's something I'm gifted in. It's something I'm talented in. I'm working to continually get good and better. And yeah, and I always think about the days in pharmacy, and I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back there.
Then the saying with John, he says, beat by beats, step by step, you'll get to your destination. You got to just start gradually and you get good at it. And that's the same thing with me. I was never a social media person. I was never. And less than 6 months back, I only go to Facebook when I have birthdays to celebrate or just to wish people happy birthday. So getting to social media and getting to do things and becoming an influence, you learn every day and you learn new bad habits and you relearn. So I have, relearned some new skills. Like what you said, you're paid for your career and you're made for your calling. And that's true. The moment you're able to discover the reason, and that's why I said you must know your mission. Why you here? What's the purpose? It says when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. That means you would use it recklessly, you won't appreciate it. So, but when the purpose of a thing is known, that means you must understand the purpose for which you are here. You must understand your mission. Your mission is your purpose. And you must have a vision. A vision is the roadmap For you to get to wherever you want to go, for you to achieve your mission, you must have a roadmap. And the last one is your passion. So once you're able to have your mission, you're able to have your vision, and you have your passion, you give it all the energy, all it takes, you will surely fly. And then, that's what they said, the eagle is the strongest bird. The eagle is the only bird that will fly so high and even fly towards the sun. Every other bird run away. The eagle stands out amongst the other birds or fowls in the air. The eagle is a big bird and a bird that, stands out. So for you to stand out, you must know your mission, your vision, and you must have a passion for what you do. A lot of times we get to fall into careers because our parents want us, oh, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be an engineer. Yes, at those stage of our lives, we're teenagers, we really do not know, not everyone. Some do know, and some has been in leadership and such that they're able to discover their passion very early in life. For some of us who do not know, will tend to flow with our father. Like me, I wanted to become a civil engineer. I love to be on the field because I love maths. My dad told me, civil engineering, that's for guys. You go and read medicine, become a doctor. So as very being innocent, I quickly went and I changed it to medicine. But I found out that I wasn't called out to read medicine. The first year, I didn't get into this institution. Second year, I did not. I just said my father would go for one of these paramedical sciences, which is biochemistry. So I went in for biochemistry. I did my first degree and I did my second degree. Then went into business administration and eventually get into a PhD, cell biology and genetics. But that didn't stop me. But I found out that I love people. I love, impacting. I love, learning from people. So that was one of the things that propelled me. And for John Maxwell, I stumbled across him one Monday. He said Mondays with Maxwell. I was always coming online to look for Maxwell. The 20 minutes short video he comes to give was very inspiring for me. I had a book for him, and the book is somewhere here. And one particular Monday, I looked for him on Facebook. I couldn't find him. I went on YouTube. I couldn't find that same week, Monday with Maxwell. I was seeing past videos. I wanted a live video. So I was like, there's something about this guy. Why am I looking for him? So there was a particular old video I watched and says, if you want more of this, and you want to speak to an advisor, click this link. So that was what I did, filled it. And the following week, I had a call. And sincerely, it took me 2-3 years to get into this journey. I was actually waiting for people to sponsor me. I was looking at, let me wait for my church, or let me look for one big uncle. Sincerely, your passion is your passion. Your calling is your calling. No one shares the same calling with you. Even your spouse will not share the same calling with you. I just found that if I keep waiting for people to sponsor me, I will never get into this journey of growth. I had to just take the bull by the horn, and I used my credit card, and I said, it's something worth my while, because sincerely, the best gift you can ever give to yourself is personal growth, personal development. It's a gift that no one can take from you. No one can steal from you. You get with all you acquire, it stays with you forever. And so today I'm excited. I did, and I want more. And for you to remain with your fire and for you to keep burning, it says stay with your fire. And one of the reasons I think that makes Yanick attend all the John Maxwell events on a yearly basis will be to keep with the fire. He wants to be with the people who influence him. Because if you stay away from your fire, it's just a matter of time. Your fire will go dim. It will go down. But when you stay with your fire, and he says, when you light all the fires, your fire glows the more. It becomes bigger. But when you're not lighting anyone, it goes down. So in this journey of growth, it's essential we find our passion so that we can give the right energy to whatever we want to acquire or achieve in life. Like Yanick said, leadership is service. Leadership is influence. But you have to determine what influence you're looking at, because we've had leaders who had positive and negative influence. So, but we are leaders with a positive difference. I want to find out from you, how did you manage with relationship whilst growing? Because I know whilst in pharmacy, a lot of friends will be like, "What's wrong with you? You're in pharmacy to get good and become a pharmacist and practice as a pharmacist." How did you manage with your relationship with your friends, colleagues, families? How were you able to manage it with, and for your mother who sent you to read pharmacy? I'm sure she was like, "Oh my God, you fell, you disappointed me. I wanted you to come out as a pharmacist and, probably end up working in one of the hospitals or one of the great pharmacy."
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. First thing first, I really friends are least of my worries as far as trying to do what it is. You look at important things, right? You have to look at priorities. First, I'm a person of faith, so when a calling is given, right, it's something that is birthed inside of you. And when I started working as a pharmacist with Walgreens, I it was less than a month. To tell you that before I started practicing, I was really skeptical. It's like, let me just see how this goes. That's my mindset before I started practicing. I
Yeah.
like, let me see how this goes.
Oh
And to
my
tell
God.
you what, I was definitely right. 2 weeks, less than a month into the job, I really confirmed that this is not what I really want to do, because I just wanted to start. And then yeah, less than a month, I went part time. People call it PRN. I would just choose. So I that's when I started my business. So I had my business. I would design my pharmacy schedule around my business. Those are the early days trying to build it up because it was juicing me up, but I was still early, and so it takes time to get good. You see what I mean? It takes time to get good, to get traction. But it was sucking the energy and the life out of me. I was
Yeah.
draining
Once it's not your
emotionally.
passion.
Yeah, I was driving home. I was like, God, this cannot be life. I mean, how long am I gonna? It's. I mean, if you go ask a lot of pharmacists, they'll tell you. I mean, they just hanging in there because they have to take care of bills and stuff. But it's not good mentally, emotionally. It really wiped me out. And then about 7 months into it, I was like, you know, I was actually engaged. Then I said, hey, I'm done. I quit. I'm done. She called my mom for my mom to talk to me, and then my mom was to talk to me, and so I listened to them. I said, okay, I'm gonna continue. And then about maybe 4 months after they had convinced me to stay, which I listened to them, then I went to a seminar in Miami, Florida, February 2019. And I listened to Steve Harvey was one of the speakers, and he shared his story how when he was about 27 or 20 something years old, somebody invited him to the comedy club, and he used to write comedy for someone, but he didn't know anything. But when he got there, opportunity came for him to perform in front of an audience. And when he went to perform for the very first time, he had discovered his gift. He went home, he had this odd job, he quit his job, and he went full time into comedy. And that's why he's Steve Harvey. Of course, it wasn't easy. Of course,
Sure.
the first 3 years was stuffy, or 3 to 5 years, he was ugly and stuff. But when I listen to Steve Harvey, especially in the situation that I was, knowing that I had wanted to quit and listen to my mom and my fiance and all these things. And then Steve Harvey shared this, and this was very profound. He said, your gift will make room for you. Your
Sure.
gift is
Sure.
what you do absolutely best in with the least amount of effort. I just got inspired. I left that conference that night. I went home. I went to my hotel room. I just called my district manager. I didn't tell my mom, my ex fiance, no one. I just said I quit. 2 weeks notice, and that was how I I'm very decisive. Right? I'm
And
very
that's
decisive.
because you know what you want.
Yep. So of course I was criticized by my mom. I mean, things got really rough. I mean, that's why you have to pay the price, right? Things got really rough. Of course, I'm a pharmacist. I have it stable, and now I'm in business. I hadn't, I'm in my early days, so I'm not making much money, and I had to vacate the premises. I had to downgrade from the lifestyle I was living. I was almost broke. The relationship ended. I mean, so many things happened, and
Really?
people,
With your fiancé?
yeah, the
So she
relationship.
wasn't getting married to you or even going out with you then because she was going out with you because you were a pharmacist.
That was part of it, because she already. I mean, because I dated her for 3 plus years, 3 years plus. So I was in pharmacy school then, and she was pharmacist, and yeah, I just basically I had a different vision, right? It wasn't the vision of what, which is okay because she's a good girl and everything. I just had a different vision. You see what I mean? It, you have to have you have to be heading to a similar direction, maybe in a
Yeah, you
relationship or
must have the
something.
similar
Yeah, and
direction.
they have to see. But she had the right to feel the way she is. I mean, most African. I mean, it's not. It's a type of business model. It's still new and evolving, and so most people still don't understand a lot of things in it. And I really couldn't put it into concrete form, like, okay, I can guarantee you stability and stuff like that, because all I knew was I already seen people that have been successful. I know I'm gonna get there. It's gonna get the time, but I really couldn't
Yeah, but
put it.
it might be rough, but the end thereof it's always with
Yep,
joy.
that's exactly what happened. But hey, I've made some mistakes, but that's one of the best decisions I ever made because I'm doing something that I'm called to do. It's the most rewarding. My life is meaningful, and I've been able to, my life is meaningful. I faced challenges, especially when I made that decision. You have to sacrifice. You have to pay the price. You gotta go through.
You
You
you have
know,
to. You
you
have
have to
to.
pay the price. Yeah, but
Yes, there's
yeah.
this saying that says, no pain, no gain, no test, no testimony. And if you don't have the scars, you can't become a star. You have got to go through your journey because one of the reasons why you go through your journey, in the vast of going through your journey, you get good. You get all the challenges. Just like I told a friend, I said, gold on any of those gems, you don't pick them on the streets. You have to dig down into the ground to get crude oil, to get gold, to get diamond. You don't get them just walking by the roadside. And once you get them, they come out in their raw states. You have to put them through, heat. That's high fire temperature to get them purified. So whilst going through our journey, there's going to be challenges. But I want to let you know that once you go through your challenges, once you go through the journey, though it might look rough, but the end thereof is great success. Just like John Maxwell earlier said, he said, failure keeps you humble. But failure and success must be kept together because they breed resilience. That means you're going to eat a lot of brick road. You're going to have a lot of failures, but that keeps you humble. So when success nuts start coming, because you are fighting hard to become successful, you're being resilient. You're eating it, and I must make it because others around you are making it, and they don't have two heads. You can also make it. So, and it lies within you. What do you believe? What do you see? It says sight is what you can see. You can see the physical thing. But the mind, your mind sees, that's vision. You use the vision, you use your mind to see what you want to be. Your vision gives you a picture, a futuristic future. That's what you will be. What do you want to see yourself doing? So we've gone beyond just seeing things. Yes, a pharmacist, great pharmacist. We've got to see things with our vision, with our mind. Where do you want to be in the next 5 years? How do you see yourself? What house do you want to live in? What impact do you want to make? So that's vision. You've got to start seeing yourself in the light of what you want to be, what you want to be tomorrow. So, and it starts by paying the price now. I always tell people, I say, when you run from your battle, you will live to fight it some other day. And you never know, maybe that day the fight will come. You might not have strength in you to fight it. Why not combat your fear? Why not fight that journey? Why not go through that pain and come out with so much testimony? So thank you for your testimony. It's a great one because sometimes you have to break relationships because you know where you're going. A man who doesn't know where he's going will be, tossed all around, to and fro. The wind will blow you anywhere. When people come into your life, they'll tell you, Yannick, tomorrow we're traveling here. And what you would do is just take your baggage and join them to go. But because you know the reason for which you are here, you know your passion. When people come, if it's not in your plan to make that journey, well, I'm sorry, my friend, I can't make that journey. I have things doing. I'm busy with this and this and this. So you've got to know what you are called to do in life, What's your mission? What's your vision? And what are you passionate about? Because just as you spoke, you said, even when you had failed severally, even when your mother was angry, when your friend left you, you kept on at what you do. Just like you earlier said, you're paid for your career, but you're made for your calling. You rather want to go for your calling. You don't care what anybody around you is saying. I love what you said. You stuck by your calling, even when you lost your friends, even when your mother was not at peace with you. You kept that, and it's just a matter of time. Your mother will come to reckon with you. By the time
Yeah.
to start seeing great success like Steve Harvey, as you said, she would reckon with you and say, "I'm glad you picked your passion. I'm glad you went after your passion." One of the reasons why we have this show is we learn from other people. Growth is not accidental. Growth is with discipline. Growth is with intentionality. It might not be palatable. It might not be interesting. It might be painful. Please go through your journey. It's only a matter of time. You'll be at the other side smiling and glad you made that decision to get stuck with your passion. So please stick with your passion. I also want to find out from you, what was your biggest challenge whilst, and what's also your biggest achievement whilst in your new career as a leadership, knowing that leadership is influence, knowing that leadership is service, knowing that you're giving back to the society. Could just, tell
Yeah.
us how you went through
So
that.
one of my strengths is I'm very decisive, and I'm willing to take action now, like I did when I said I'm done with pharmacy. And personal growth works for me because when I'm listening to stuff, I'm in the next 24 hours, what is something I need to apply? Because right, it comes with application,
Sure.
what you implement. But one of my fault is I'm decisive, but I'm impatient. I think one of my weaknesses is impatience, and it has cost me
A lot, I
because
guess.
yeah, there's some decisions that need to be slept on, or I need to be so. There's some decisions that I need to sleep on or not make now, or give it some time to wait for a particular timing. But then I have gone ahead and acted on and be so quick to making decisions, some decisions, and it has cost me significantly. So if there is one challenge and I'm continually still facing is impatience. So now before I want to maybe take some, if something comes up, I want to make some kind of decision. I have people in my inner circle that I'll confine in for them to give me some advice on what I need to do, because my urge is I want to do it. You see what I mean?
Sure.
I want to make it happen. Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
So that is my biggest. And so now I have to talk to my inner circle friends and my inner circle friends and get their advice, and then go with it. So now to rely on friends and inner circle to be able to give me great advice, and so I think that's
That's a
also,
great word,
especially even
owning
even
up to your
even in
weakness.
relationships. Yeah, even in relationships with women and stuff like that, the impatient has been one of my weakness and probably greatest challenge, which of course all comes back to me, right? Because
Sure.
yeah, and my biggest success, I think one of the greatest decision that I made in my life, first thing first, was joining the John Maxwell team.
Sure.
I think the John Maxwell team was the one of the best decisions that I ever made. And last year, I went to I had the privilege of being selected to go to West Palm Beach and spend studio time with John, Monday with Maxwell, which that's how you got into the team. So
Yeah.
I did it last year with John in the studio, and it was life transforming for me. If I had to look at one success last year, was spending studio time with John, talking with John, and just
Great.
seeing his humility, and we just had
He's a
some
great father.
conversation. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's some of the.
Awesome. Awesome. He's a great teacher. He is very, when I witnessed him at the IMC, and I said, oh my God, this guy is so subtle. It speaks with a gentle voice. The second day, he invited us for the early morning devotion with John Maxwell. Oh my God, come and see. He spoke about Jesus in a very subtle way, such that even those who are atheists came out. And I was like, he spoke about the transformational leader. And he spoke how the transformational leader gets into you and transform you and make you a transformational leader. It was so subtle for me because to me, I was like, anybody in that environment would think he's talking about his leadership business. He wasn't preaching, but in a way, he was evangelizing. But in everybody who came for the IMC event with the John Maxwell, were at that room, and a lot of people were transformed because I saw him giving out Bibles. People came out. I was thrilled because he started it like he was going to be teaching you about leadership. He started with the leadership skills. He started with how you become a better leader. He said about the greatest leader in the whole wild world and why everybody is following that same leader today. And he spoke about once you accept that leader to come into you, you become a transformed leader and you begin to transform lives. It was so exciting for me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Before we take a break and call it a day, I want to just take just a minute to just showcase. I told you I'm an author and I have a book. Can anything hold you back? Just as we spoke, you shouldn't allow anything keep you from running with your passion. So I'm just going to take 1 or 2 minutes to show it before we call it. Thank you, Yannick. So interesting and mind-blowing. I'm glad I connected with you at the IMC. I guess then there is no greater platform like where we met. Where you have leaders of great minds, people of like minds being together in a room and having 165 ethnic represented and countries represented in a room. It was so exciting for me and it was so transforming. I want to thank you for making our time, telling us your story so that others can learn. Thank you for all the inspiring, the things you went through, the pains you overcame, and the difference you're making in your world. I want to thank you for making our time. And I also want to thank my viewers, which without them being on this show, I don't think we'll be talking to anyone. I want to thank you for everyone connecting all around the world. Thank you for staying to the end of this show. We appreciate you until we meet in our next episode, which is next week, Monday. Do have a blessed evening and have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.